Saint-Martin, préparez-vous à faire la fête. Ce samedi 24 août avec Chris en showcase au district 721. Il nous ambiancera sur le tube de l'été, God Bless.
J'adore. Il y a un bel visage en gros fesses. Oh yes, God bless. Il y a un bel visage en gros fesses. Oh yes, God bless.
Réserve ta table et prends ton ticket dès maintenant. Pour plus d'informations, rendez-vous sur District 721 SXM.
Welcome to Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host.
Welcome to the Late Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everybody is all right. See how that happens. Okay. Maybe we could turn it up a little bit. Yeah. Let's get the show going. Okay. So Andrew Dick is not here, so he asked me to fill in. We're going to get into some satire. I'm not a clown, I'll do my best. This week started off with political resignations. Toncha Bonkampa announced quite early this morning that he is done with politics, he's done with the party, he's done with being active in politics, so we wish him all the best. I know Toncha's gone, we're all wondering if all the marijuana legislation is going to be thrown out. We need somebody still to fight for it, but guys, just take a smoke, take a chill, don't worry about that. Okay, also, we saw the leader of the National Alliance, still the leader up until this morning, Sylveria Jacobs. She gave up her seat as well and gave up her position as the leader of the NA. Why, we don't know, but there is a clip. Look at this clip by Wendell Moore.
But we all know what happened in 2017 when the whole cry for William have to go took place, when the opposition at the time really wanted his head on the platter. And afterward, we were able to prove that the trajectory we were on was the correct one. That election, or I should say that period of time, really hurt me as the outgoing Minister of Education, because we were actually recovering and doing everything we had to do to recover. We lost the government after that election. So we went from 7 seats in 2010 to 4 seats in 2014. So we dropped tremendously. Okay, we had the exodus of Franz Richardson and some other mitigating factors. So if we look back, similar to what happened 2020 to now, is happening again. So we went from 7, 2010, to 4, 2014, to 5, 2016. This was all under MP Marlin. And then I took over the leadership via his, let's say, his putting his hand on my head, so to speak, and being supported by the Congress, because that's how leadership is transferred in our party, through the decision of the Congress. And in 2018, I took the helm and we retained the 5 seats. In 2020, we had elections again. I served in Parliament in 2018. And in 2020, when we went back to the polls, we went up to 6 seats. So we've seen a 7, 4, 5, 5, 6. And then after governing for 4 years, during the most difficult period of time, which I've recounted countless times here on the air with you in previous interviews and on others, we then saw the National Alliance go back down to 4 seats. Also recalling that we saw the bleeding of MP Emmanuel, MP Ludmilla Duncan, and all of the negativity of the past year and the challenges with the pandemic. So those are some of the mitigating factors to why we are here. But as leader of the National Alliance, I am here to say that I have heard the people of St. Martin.
Yeah.
There has been a question as to leadership. I will go into it more as we go along based on your questions.
Yes.
But at this time, I would like to state emphatically that as leader of the National Alliance, I have taken the decision to resign as leader of the party. As such, the automatic transition will go to the number 2 candidate who has the deputy function. He will be the transition leader as we prepare for Congress. My resignation goes into effect as per the 19th of September when my term ends in Parliament. As I have not been re-elected, I think it's the honorable thing to do. It shows maturity. I do not want, and I made sure to contact all of the candidates that I could reach within the past couple of hours, 24 hours, to ensure that they didn't hear this on the news, as well as the majority of the board as well. And it is for me an honor to have led the National Alliance. It's an honor to have led a group of hard-working, passionate, integral candidates. And I know that this is but a time to reflect, regroup, and rebuild. And I pledge my 100% support to the party for this process.
You seem to have that well documented. Your past, coming all the way up to now. But you mentioned a little bit earlier that they try to bring you down, and I was wondering, who is that they?
External factors, I would want to say. I mean, there's also been, and I'm going to be 100% honest and open with the people of St. Martin, transparent. I believe every family goes through challenges, right? But I think the external attacks on the National Alliance have exacerbated whatever internally was going on. The external attacks, I can clearly state, everybody knows, came from whether it was opposition at the time or persons vying for power in this country. Mr. Arundel was able to, despite not residing physically on St. Martin, establish a party, which is something we really have to revisit in electoral reform. He was able to establish a party after having gone through a serious disinformation campaign against Silveria Jacobs, Omar Otley, Egbert Duran, Artwell Irian, and continued down the line to the other parties as well. But initially started on the sitting government, the NA-UP government. And unfortunately, I noticed as the time passed by, most of the smut continued to land on the National Alliance. We got the blame for what was going on at Telem. We got the blame for what was going on at GB. I personally got the blame for what was going on at Telem. So in 2024 January elections, some of my team was like, yes, but we lost our Telem supporters, etc., etc. And I think there I could have been a little more transparent, gone to visit the Telem workers and explain the position of the shareholder in terms of what can and cannot happen. So there was an expectation that more could have been done from a shareholder perspective, which I will take responsibility for in not communicating effectively with the workers. I was maintained a hands-off approach as shareholder and as the chairman of the Council of Ministers, which some may have said has worked in my detriment. I stood in front of the fiasco that became the hack at NVGEBE, even though I did not start out in charge of it. That was another thing that some of my supporters said undermined my leadership. So when things, people wanted to be in charge, but then when the proverbial mess hit the fan, I was the one that stood up. And I think that that's the role that the chair and the leader has to play. So at the end of the day, I stand responsible for everything that happened under my leadership, because that's what leaders do. But I also stand responsible for the good things that happen. I stand responsible for the growth in leadership in several candidates. That is what I sought to do, because I believe a good leader grows leaders and not diminishes them, doesn't put them on the side. Franz Richardson, myself, and several others grew under William Marlin. So I look to him as also a good leader that grew leadership and was able to relinquish that leadership feeling confident that it could continue. And I proved that I could, because I maintained the amount we had under my leadership in 2018, grew in 2020, but I feel I got lost in the governing in the 4 years, dealing with the crisis of the pandemic, then the crisis of the GB hack, and never getting an opportunity to really communicate effectively on the ground with the people in terms that they could understand. So I stand responsible for that. But internal struggles, assumptions that MP Doran would automatically take over the leadership once he'd got more votes than me, was something I never subscribed to. Not to diminish him, but I felt that having more votes is not the only way in which you prove leadership. And I felt that there was time needed to grow in experience, etc. And I wish him all the best moving forward.
Andrew wanted me to point this out as well. When it comes to Sylveria Jacobs' resignation, that she didn't really tell anybody about it. And up until filming time, there is actually no response or word or release from the National Alliance. Is there trouble?
Because it's never been about me. And I think that is something that some people see as a flaw in me, in that I wasn't the quote-unquote dog-eat-dog politician. That has never been who I am. I entered this to be the change I wanted to see in politics, and I don't think I was successful in being that change enough that to change the landscape of politics. But I stand by the decisions I have made. There was one point, however, I've learned quite some lessons through these experiences. And one of the things I learned through the pandemic is that when you go through a difficult time is when you learn your strength. And you have to take unpopular decisions. And I took the unpopular decisions. And if we look across the world, most leaders during the pandemic didn't survive. No matter how good, they turned things around. And I believe we, under my leadership, turned things around, but I never made it about Sylveria. I didn't go campaigning within the government building. I didn't go out to the government owned companies and beg for their vote. I felt that that was overstepping my authorities or using my authorities in a wrong way. So in many cases, and I have denied being a politician in the traditional sense of the word, because I believe politicians look for ways to keep their seats, while leaders look with vision towards a future. And maybe in that future, I'm not there, but I would have laid the steps so that others would be raised up who would carry on after me. And in this case, as a National Alliance leader, outgoing leader, so to speak, I am ready and prepared to continue to build my team. So I still consider them my team in the sense that I am part of the team. I am a card-carrying member of the National Alliance and also a member of the board. So in that respect, we do have to reflect and reflect honestly, not just the leader. All of us have to look ourselves in the mirror and say, did I do what I set out to do? And what do I need to do now to fix it? Because the people, the over 2,000 people in this election and 3,000 plus in the last election, and we keep going back to the 4,000, etc. For whatever reason, the 2,000 votes we lost, we need to have them back because I believe they're organic voters. A lot of people told me they weren't able to make it to the polls, but I don't question God. What had to happen happened so that the scales could be removed from certain people's eyes. I felt during this past year like the proverbial brown pelican of St. Martin. And I don't know if you know what the brown pelican is known for. But the pelican is known for plucking its own breast to be able to feed its chicks. So when you said that I would come on here and I would promote the party, that's because, for those who didn't know, 2024, 2028 was supposed to be my last run. So the January elections. That was my decision together with my team. I would serve for 4 more years and then I would seek other ways to serve St. Martin. When the situation occurred in May, as I mentioned in previous interviews, there was an instability in this 4x2 government. And I say 4x2 because it's 4 parties of 2 representatives each. it became blatantly evident, and several members reached out to the National Alliance as well as the UP. But I'm only going to speak about the National Alliance. I, on several occasions, did not agree and did not sign on. So many people question, why did you sign on in May? It took everything within me to agree to that, because at the core of me, I didn't agree. However, after having discussions with Mr. Mingret himself, hearing it directly from his mouth, not hearsay, not he say, not she say, that he did not feel like this was the right thing for St. Martin, and knowing us and having worked with us as a cabinet member before, having actually met with me in June of last year to be a part of the National Alliance, and having known him as a student and trusting that his word meant something, also being influenced by my team, because as I said, I've always promoted inclusive leadership. And with us signing on with Kevin, we would have been able to give the hardworking, passionate people like Charlotte Pompier that was next in line, like Daryl York, like Anna Richardson, and others who had fallen 5th, 6th, and 7th, the opportunity to continue the hard work that we know we had been doing as a National Alliance. And so, like the proverbial brown pelican, I put my gut feeling aside. I tried to sway my team, and I was unable to sway my team to let it be, let it go, let it implode on its own, let the people see for themselves. And we signed on with Mr. Mingret, and we all know that he had his regret for whatever reason they told him. But I know that he was concerned about a coming election and knowing that he would not be able to survive it. Some have said that the one who dropped the government was not there to be punished, and so the ones that facilitated him would be punished instead. And so as a National Alliance and the leader of the National Alliance, I accept that punishment, and I apologize to the people of St. Martin for putting us, putting my gut feeling aside and honoring the inclusive leadership that I've been fostering, in that, this is my sentiments, but if a majority wants to go this way and it will benefit the party in the long run and benefit St. Martin in the long run, this is what I'll do. But with everything else that had been heaped upon the head of the National Alliance, this, for some who really believed in me and the NA, was the last straw. And so the results are what they are, and I accept them for what they are, but I will definitely learn from this experience and continue to trust my gut moving forward.
Alliance, is there trouble in the camp? Maybe there is. I guess we'll figure out in the next couple of days, but nothing from the party, just from her specifically. Then we got to wonder who's going to be the leader of the Great White Hope.
I'm not here to throw shade on anyone. Yeah. Our party has a process. Yeah. Because I am the leader and MP Duran is the deputy leader, he will carry the party's leadership until we have a Congress.
I wanted to actually,
and the membership.
Wait for the Congress?
No, because I didn't want to be out of active politics and lead the party. I didn't think that was a good look for the party. I didn't want to seem desperate for the leadership of the party. And for all of those persons who felt that I deliberately withheld leadership from MP Duran, that is completely opposite. MP Duran is someone I feel that has a passion for service, but needed some growth in leadership. And I'm going to say this plain out. So it's not something I've hidden. This is something I've said to him directly. And so that is one of the main reasons I didn't step aside before. I also felt like I led St. Martin and this party, as I said, when I broke it down, from when I took over 5 seats. So we'd gone from 7 to 4, back up to 5, and slowly grew up to 6 under my leadership. In the last couple of years, I have lost the confidence of the people because I feel I didn't communicate effectively. I communicated, but not effectively. That has been clear when I campaigned. Persons also said that I allowed myself to be bullied by the others within the party, whom I was actively trying to raise up as leaders. So people seeing it from the outside would see it differently, but it will be up to the National Alliance membership who will lead them. And I would like to admonish any and all supporters to not, we have to be the change we want to see. And if not person A and you want person B, we don't have to cry down person A to do that. We can be constructive in our criticism. We can be open in that. But as a party, I would like us to take the time to be still and know that there is a God and that together we can get out of this. The party can be rebuilt. The party can grow back to its former glory. We wanted to reach back to that 7 seats when we hit 6. But every time, because I think electoral reform hasn't happened, until that happens, we're going to continue as various parties to see up and down, because the constant falling of government is creating that atmosphere and that individualism that continues to rear its head.
The Great White Party. Who's going to be the leader? Is it going to be Duran, who's proven himself with all of these high vote getting numbers, or will it be a William? Will it be a Marlin? Will it be a Marlin? It should be a Marlin, shouldn't it? Are we going with legacy? But again, Marlin wasn't elected this time. So how are we going to, are we going with legacy or are we going with political power? I don't know. I'm glad not to be on that side right now. We've had our own confusion. So follow the white line or follow whatever you guys are following. We're going to find out what's going on with the National Alliance real soon.
Great job, Carl. Thank you. Jeremy, come on up. For the final word in the Spelling Bee Championship, please spell insurance.
Insurance. N-A-G-I-C-O. Insurance.
That's correct. I hope your father can spell Nagico too.
Nagico is insurance. Insurance is Nagico.
In some police news, apparently there's a rumor that the searches that were supposed to end today are going to continue. So that's for everybody who may not be in the right standing with the law. Just let you know that it's still out there tonight. Where's Batman? Where you need him. That's what Andrew wanted me to say. Okay. And since Andrew's not here, I just wanted to really just, set the vibe a little bit different for the rest of the week if I'm going to be here. Like, Pete, you think you could get a better background? Yeah, that's kind of like it. Could we get a little music? Yeah, Peter. Yeah, I like that. I just wanted to announce, since it's never announced, DP is the best. Red machine all the way. I would just want to paint Andrew's stage completely red all the time. And I don't know, let's see what goes on this week. It's quite hard following him. I'm trying to be as, trying to give you the story the right size and do the funny. I really can't. I'm trying my best, and Pete knows I'm trying my best. But anyway, DP is the best. We're in. We're gonna do what we gotta do, and who don't like it, kick rock.
Hello, my people. Make sure you tune in to Sit, Sip, and Chat every Monday at 5 p.m. on TV 15 and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.
And make sure tune in to the Late Night Show with Andrew Dick from Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. with a repeat in the afternoon for no reason. In the afternoon, the Late Night Show at 3 p.m. Thank you, TV 15.
Thank you, TV 15. Make sure to tune in
Make sure to tune in to the Late Night.
and Sit, Sip, and Chat.
Late Night.
Motorola's annual Hot Summer Car Show is happening Saturday, August 31st. Are your documents ready?
Get easy pre-approval from Windward Islands Bank and RBC Bank when you bring the following documents.
A recent job letter addressed to Windward Island Bank or RBC Royal Bank.
Your last 2 payslips if paid monthly, or your last 4 payslips if paid bi-weekly.
2 forms of identification, your driver's license, ID card, or your passport.
A proof of address, this can be your utility bill or a registration form from the census office.
A pro forma invoice from Motorola for the vehicle of your choice.
If you're not a Dutch resident, you have to get a resident paper along with a valid work permit.
A list of 3 references of people that you would know. You would look for their name, their address, their telephone number, and place of employment.
And that's all you need to get approved to drive away in your new car.
So don't miss out on Motorola's Hot Summer Car Show on August 31st. We can't wait to see you there.
Welcome to the National Institute for Professional Advancement, where dreams meet education. At NEPA, we offer 9 exciting programs to help you reach your full potential. From our state-of-the-art culinary program, where you can master the art of cooking, to our hospitality program, preparing you for the dynamic world of service. Our electrical installation technician program offers hands-on experience and practical skills for a bright future. Our ICT program is designed for the digital age, and our general property maintenance program helps you craft a solid foundation in construction. Plus, gain real-world skills in our automotive technology program, with day and evening classes and validated certifications. Join us at NEPA, where your journey to success begins. Enroll now.
All right, let's get to some flashbacks.
Flashback.
The final interview, the last interview of the year, was done today by our Honorable Deputy Prime Minister of St. Martin, Egbert Duran, our Minister of Romy. And he was bold, and he was decisive, and he was straight to the point as to his performance for this year. And he didn't pull. He put out all the stops, some kind of how. But anyway, he was on the Super Duper Morning Show, and here is your highlight of the interview.
So it's definitely action-packed year, I must say. However, in rounding off the year, I must say that I feel a boost of positive energy. And as I mentioned over the last couple of weeks, that for me, the year 2023 is all about the year of progress and forward movement. You always go through the challenges and different things. We came into government, I'm talking about the beginning of this particular tenure, in the beginning of COVID, so to speak. So there was a lot of, I must say, time lost, but also I tried to look at the positive, time to reflect as well and adjust our way of thinking in terms of the way of the world, and in particular the way of St. Martin and how we want to move forward. So I must say that it has been quite a learning experience.
Yeah.
And as you gradually go along, you have to put that learning experience into practice in terms of getting tangible results, which ultimately benefit the people.
Okay.
Like I say, even I always say it, I believe that it is our time now. When I say our time, I'm talking about this generation is our time to step up to the plate. I've seen that over the last at least 2 elections. And I believe that we will continue to see that, because now it's time for us to, how you say, give back for all that St. Martin has given to us.
Now, as you notice, the minister is wearing red. Why is he wearing red? Is it because the Democratic Party Congress is coming in January, or is he preparing to challenge his leader, Sylvia Jacobs? Late night always tries to give you the scoop on the latest candidates, the latest aspiring members of parliament, and of course the current members of parliament who are going to definitely be seeking re-election because they always feel like they're doing such a great job. Let me start off with new parties first. For potential candidates, some that you have to look out for, which they started early with pushing themselves forward, is Julian Rolox Jr. Of course, if you remember the SAP party, which is from Julian Rolox Sr., his son now is following in the footsteps of his pops, and he is on the URSM party, and he will be running with the URSM party. He did some event a couple of days ago, and he got everybody wearing the Junior Rolox shirt. So he going hard. He's starting the election cycle already, even though we are the end of December, and we don't know whether we're going to have elections in November or in January of 2024. But either way, it's going to be a year of campaigning, people. So get ready for the rhetoric and get ready for all the promises. Another candidate that you have to look out for is Prince Herbert Martina, who's going to be running with the URSM. Yes, we know he's going to be running with the URSM because he's been on different programs with the URSM, and he always bigging up the URSM. So therefore, he will not be running on the National Alliance. Usually, he's been part of the National Alliance for a while. Before that, he was PPA. Now he is URSM. Is he a ship jumper? I don't think so, because he was never elected. So he just decided to find a better fit, since the National Alliance have no respect for him and send Rene to Holland instead of him. He's still vexed. He's still vexed. Chris Weaver, our former Minister of Romy, he is also running on the URSM. I think he's been hinting it on Facebook for quite some time. Weaver works. That looks like it's going to be his campaign slogan, Weaver works. So he was very short as Minister of Romy. Short time span, I think less than 6 months. But he was the minister, nevertheless. So those are some of the candidates you have to look out for on the URSM list, led by Dr. Luc Mercelina. All right, let's go into the Democratic Party. This is one of my favorites because the DP Red Machine is trying. Again, let me stress on trying or attempting, or they are maybe going to make a comeback. And they have some very interesting candidates that they're grooming in the meantime. First, we have Roberto Richardson, which is Jeffrey Richardson's brother. Remember the Concordia Alliance, the party, the Concordia Alliance. Now we have Roberto Richardson, who's going to be running with the Democratic Party, which normally they usually are National Alliance type of family, but it looks like they're going towards the Democratic Party. So let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting. He's hosting a live stream with his brother Jeffrey on a weekly basis, interact streaming Facebook. That's very interesting and gives you an insight of St. Martin families and some of the topics that are trending on the island. So he is a candidate to look out for. Ludmila the Weaver. Yes, we heard that Ludi might be going to the Democratic Party, and she might be a strong number 2 candidate, I hear, or 3, or maybe number 1. But then that means Auntie Sarah not going to be number 1. I don't know what's going to happen there. But we hearing, the kids underneath the tree that's in Middle Region or Dutch Quarter or Soccer Garden or St. Peter's or the boys on the block, they're talking. And they say, you ain't hearing? Ludi going with DP? And I was like, what? Say what? So, Ludi the Weaver might be going on the Democratic Party, so that is something to look out for, because the Weaver family has always, had a representative in government, and now Ludi is going to be on a new party. She is, of course, from the United People's Party before, and now she is on the Democratic Party, maybe. She might change her mind last minute, so don't keep me to it, but that's why I'm hearing, so don't cuss me, okay? Next candidate that we're hearing that is on the Democratic Party is Krisha Heiliger Martin. Yes, the Heiligers have chosen to go back home to the Democratic Party. And is the UP in trouble? Oh, they're in trouble. Yes, they're in trouble. Because remember, Theo Heiliger is officially from the Democratic Party. Then afterwards, he got vexed with Sarah, so he started his United People's Party. Then he joined with Sarah and made the United Democrat Party. Then he got sentenced and convicted, and then he had to leave the United Democratic Party with Sarah. So Sarah went back to the Democratic Party. You lost? Yeah, me too. St. Martin is a real place. Sorry, that's crazy. Okay. So anyway, so the Democratic Party is trying to rein back its stalwarts. So we're hearing that Krisha Heiliger Martin will be running with the Democratic Party with Auntie Sarah, and that is going to be some trouble for the United People's Party, but we're going to get to them very soon. Also, Dimar Labega, of a National Alliance candidate from the last elections. We're hearing that he's running with the Democratic Party for the next elections. He resigned recently from the National Alliance because I think he had a disagreement with the Prime Minister, something about the Prime Minister being no good, and I agree. But in any case, he decided to just, part ways with the National Alliance and decided to go back home because the Labegas are known for being with the Democratic Party. And of course, some other stalwarts that I'm not going to mention right now, but of course, Auntie Sarah, whether she's going to be at the helm or she's going to be at the bottom, 23, or number 1, either way, Auntie Sarah is going to have, trying to have a star-studded cast of politicians for the next elections. So the DP Red Machine is trying to make a comeback. Whether that is going to happen or not, we have to wait and see. Next up, the United People's Party. Okay, so we know the tallest member of parliament, Rolanda Bryson, as your number 1 candidate. Of course, then a hearing that Cookie, yes, Sidat Belani, our current president of parliament, is going to be running again with the United People's Party. Don't know why, but he will. Okay, then we have Chanel Brownbill going back to the United People's Party. Now, I need you to stay with me. Chanel Brownbill was on the United People's Party, then he went to the USP Party, then he went to the United Democrats, and then he went to the USP Party. And after the USP Party, he going back to the UP Party. I confused. But in any case, the independent member will be running with the United People's Party this time around. That's what we're hearing. That's what the boys on the block are saying, and you know they're never wrong. Also, speaking about boys on the block, Member of Parliament Akeem Arinel will be running with the United People's Party also, from what we're hearing. Yes, because, he was with the United St. Martin Party before, and then afterwards he went independent, and afterwards he went independent. Now he is going with the UP party. It's going to be his first time going with a different party, because the first time he ran with the USP. Okay, so those two current members of parliament who are independent will be running with United People's Party. Let me move on to the incoming Minister of TIAT, Leo Lambix, will also be running for the next elections, and he will be running, guess where? The United People's Party also, because they need candidates, because everybody else is running away. So therefore, they invited Leo Lambix to also be a candidate on the party of the United People's Party. So there you go, another candidate. And also, Charlon Pompier, he is a hot candidate to look out for, because he was the co-founder of the PFP party, and then the PFP expelled him. So now he is on the United People's Party, from what are we hearing through the grapevines, and he is going to be a candidate on the UP. That is also a big vote getter, so to speak, because he did get a good amount of votes during the last time that he ran. Not enough to get elected, but just enough to be noticed. So he is bringing his votes to the United People's Party. And will it work? Or won't it work? We'll have to wait and see. Then, of course, we have Bria Sorton. Yes, the Sorton family are going into politics. And of course, Bria Sorton is a former a carnival queen, and she is currently working in the UP faction in Parliament, and she is also going to be a candidate on the United People's Party. All right? Okay, good. You stay with me. Then we have the Minister of Everything, Minister Omar Otley, who is also going to be on the United People's Party. But there is a big but. During the last elections in 2020, his uncle, Frankie Myers, started a new party called the St. Martin Action Movement, which is short for SAM. Don't ask. But anyway, so the St. Martin Action Movement was formed by Frankie Myers. If they do decide to run for the upcoming elections, from what we're hearing they will, Omar Otley will be going to SAM for sure, because he's going with Uncle Frankie. Hello. Makes sense. Frankie Myers, Omar Otley, family. They're supposed to be, passing the baton. So he might make a fresh start with the SAM party, and they might be scooping up some of the young boys of the different political parties. You never know. I think maybe that's like a backdoor plan, just in case if the DP looking too strong. But that's what we're hearing. It might not be true, because Frankie is tired of politics, and he might not even bother run his party, even though he registered last minute because he wanted to stick it to Theo Heiliger and the UP party. But then he changed his mind, because Omar Otley then went on the UP party and got elected. So therefore, he didn't have to stick it to him again. So that's what we have for the UP. Now, we have some candidates that are floating in the air, that are still deciding on where to go. And then we have Mark Mingo, for example, Mark Mingo being one. We have also Ludmina Duncan being another one. And of course, I heard that the PFP party is going to still, seek re-election with Melissa Gomes as the leader, and Ray Peterson seeking re-election. I don't know why, because he don't do shit. But hey, to each his own, I guess. He's going for re-election. Of course, the other members of parliament who are there currently are, of course, going to go back on the parties and the Council of Ministers. Yeah. Now, the National Alliance is one that we have to look at the most. Why? It's because there is a Congress planned for the first quarter of 2023. And the leadership is being contested by 3 candidates. We have, of course, the current leader of the National Alliance, Sylvia Jacobs, our current Prime Minister, who's doing such a wonderful job. Bullshit. Sorry. Just have like a cold these days. Secondly, we have the Minister of something or nothing at all, Rudolph Samuel, who is the deputy leader of the National Alliance that might be contesting the leadership. And then we have, of course, the one, the only, the highest vote getter from the last elections, Egbert Doran. Yeah. So those three are ones. Now those two are the ones you have to look for, and then of course they have one more that is, lurking in the bushes, lurking behind the kitchen. And the reason why I say the kitchen is because he's a cook. But either way, Hyundai Malin, Cloyd Malin, will be contesting the elections with the National Alliance. But will he go for the leadership because he is William Malin's son? Now, of course, we all know that William Malin was the leader of the National Alliance for 100 years. And now that he is retiring from politics after this term is finished, Hyundai Malin, Cloyd Malin, is supposed to be taking his spot. Now, of course, the National Alliance is going to be in a tug of war because you have Doran, who received the most votes during the last election. So therefore, why shouldn't he be the leader? Because he got the most votes in the National Alliance and the other parties. But you have the prince of the National Alliance, which is Cloyd Malin, who, is expected to take over for his father. So who will win at the Congress? Or will the current Prime Minister, Severa Jacobs, retain her leadership of the party and continue moving forward or backwards or sidewards in her case? Because anyway, I don't want to get cancelled. So that's the situation, what's happening in politics right now. There is a lot for you to take in, so soak it in, my people. It's almost end of the year. Tomorrow we should be having the Dick Awards, so make sure you stay for us. Stay with us for that. Looking forward to it. It's gonna be a woozy. It's gonna be a woozy. It's gonna be nice. Do a whole award ceremony and everything, with the music and everything. Anyway, welcome to the Late Night Show. We have a good one for you.
That was it for the Late Night Show with Alston, not with Andrew. So I expect more if I get to do this again. Bye-bye. Have a good night and stay out of trouble.